Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time to join our webinar session today. We have Prasad here from Chisholm Institute, one of the biggest state Victoria. So he will inform you about the program that they offer in Chisholm, also the entry requirement, and then of course, the beautiful location, as we can see from the background picture. It's very beautiful campus. So you can share the information with your colleague if they cannot join. And of course, as usual, we record this. So we will upload this recording session in our YouTube channel and you can share with your colleague for the link later. Okay, without further ado, please have your time to do the presentation, Hasan.
Thank you. I just changed my background as well. Thank you so much, Margarita. So yes, that is one of our campuses as such, what you see at the back. So that's the Frankston campus. So as you know, when there was a lockdown, we all had to use Zoom and Teams to basically talk to everybody. That's when we came up with these backgrounds as such. But thank you so much for coming for this session today. My name is Prashant Prasanna and I work as a manager, international student recruitment and admissions at Chisholm TAFE in Melbourne. So I'm currently talking to you from Melbourne. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon here. So first of all, thank you so much to Margarita and the team members of Yes Education for organizing this session. Yes Education has been one of our longtime partners, and I think having this session is very important for us to talk to you more about Chisholm, some of the programs that we currently deliver, and also help you understand how big we as an international education institution are. Now, the agenda for the day is, I'm sorry, I have a small PowerPoint presentation which I'm going to run past all of you. I'll try and make it as interesting as possible. So my plan is I'll continue to talk for about 25-30 minutes or so. And then I've also organized our head of the engineering technology program, Dr. Tashan, to join in this session because he'll be able to talk to you more about the selling points of this particular degree program, which is very popular for the international students. Now, without any further delay, I will start my presentation. Now, please let me know once my screen is visible.
Now we can see the presentation.
Right. Fantastic. Now, if you could just bear with me for a second, I shall talk to my person and ask him if he can join the session as soon as possible. Just bear with me for a second. Thank you for your patience. I have communicated to him to join the session as soon as possible, and he'll be here soon. Now, again, welcome to Chisholm. Now, throughout all the presentations, you'll see a small barcode towards the right-hand side corner of your screen. Please use your mobile devices to scan the barcode. It's going to take you to our international web page where you can look at more about the course contents, the tuition fee of the program, and it'll also take you to a main web page which will show you more about Chisholm, the facilities, and how large we as an institution are. So I represent Chisholm. I work for a unit called as International Student Recruitment and Admissions. We manage recruitment and admissions here through the Melbourne campus. It's a small team, so that individualized one-on-one attention is possible between us and us and you as our partners. Now, I can see if you have any questions or queries, please feel free to follow the instructions of Margarita, who has just put up. I can see she has put up the solution in the chat window as such. So happy to answer the questions towards the end of the presentation, or happy to take your questions after the presentation as well. Now, let me go to the next slide. Now, one of the biggest questions that you may have in your mind is why work with Chisholm? Why should we send our students to Chisholm as such? I know that you're already working with several other partners, bigger partners than us as well, and why Chisholm. Now, these are some of the standard selling points that we have come up with to talk to agents about. The biggest advantage of sending students to a TAFE is it's a government-owned education provider. So what that means is we are owned and funded by the Victorian state government. So that makes us a very safe and a secure institution for your students to study and be a part of. Now, the way it works in Australia is you have the universities, you have the TAFEs, and you have the private providers. So the universities are funded by the federal government, very similar to the university system you have in your country, and we are funded by the state government. So which is very similar to the polytechnic system that you may have come across in other countries as such. So there is hundreds of thousands of dollars, in fact, millions of dollars poured into the upliftment of our facilities on a regular basis by the state government as such. So students get access to the best training facilities at any TAFE in Australia. Now, we are one of the hands down the largest vocational education and training providers in Victoria. Just to give you an idea, as of 2024, we have 42,000 students currently studying with us. These 42,000 students come from over 160 different nationalities, and they're studying at least 250 different courses at Chisholm. We have 7 different campuses, which are based in the southeastern suburbs, which I'll show you as we progress through the presentation. Now, the moment I say TAFE, the first thing that comes to your mind is you may think that we only deliver diploma and vocational programs. Yes, we do, but we also deliver bachelor degrees. So we're classified as a non-university higher education provider. So what that means is we deliver diploma programs, we deliver diploma to degree programs, and we also deliver standalone degree undergraduate programs as such. So it does not mean that your students have to come to TAFE to only study a diploma program. They can do a diploma to degree, or they can do a degree program as well. Of course, the program availability is always going to be limited because we're not as big as a university in the program portfolio space. We offer diploma to degree pathways. One of the biggest advantages of doing a diploma to degree program is small classroom sizes, one-on-one attention. So when students are coming from different countries, it takes some time for them to get used to the education system here in Australia. So sending them to a direct higher education degree class could be a problem most of the times. So what we do is we encourage students to go via the diploma pathway where that one-on-one attention is possible. We lay the foundation stone for them to go into the degree program. And then generally a diploma program, upon completion of a diploma, they would have a certification with which they could go out and look for work. And a diploma to degree pathway is always cheaper and more affordable in comparison to a direct bachelor's pathway as such. Skilled and passionate teachers, all our teachers have practical experience in the industry. Some of them, in fact, majority of them are working in the industry, and these are the skills they're delivering to the students in the classroom. State-of-the-art facilities and equipment. Like I said, there's millions of dollars being invested on our campuses on a regular basis. We have state-of-the-art campuses. What you see behind me is a Frankston campus. That's what one of our new campuses basically looks like. We also have a 360-degree virtual tour of our campuses. I'll put up a link on the chat window as we go through the presentation. Have a look at the virtual campus tour. It will give you a feel of what our facilities are, how close we are to the public transportation facilities, and how big our, how generally how big our organization is. Multiple locations in the growth corridors of Victoria. Again, like I said, we are based in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne, which are known as the growth corridors of Victoria. The reason they're called as growth corridors is there's plenty of investment happening from the Victorian and the federal government on a regular basis. Where I am at the moment is in a suburb called Dandenong, which is a head office. This is known as the manufacturing corridor of Victoria because there's a lot of manufacturing firms in here, and there's a lot of investment happening by the government to set up these, to make this a manufacturing corridor as such. Just to give you an idea, the Dandenong campus is probably 20 minutes away from the Monash Clayton campus. Our Berwick campus is situated right opposite to the Federation University Berwick campus. So you see, there are universities in these locations as well. And we are again about 20 to 25 minutes away from the Deakin Burwood campus as well. So that will give you, if for most of you that have been to Melbourne, or for most of you that deal with these universities, that would give you an idea as to where our location basically is. And with the Indonesian families and the students as well, there's the community towards the southeastern suburbs is pretty strong. So generally, as far as I am aware, and based on the data available, there is a percentage of the Indonesian families and students living in the city, in and around the city. And then there is another percentage who live in the southeastern suburbs as such. All our campuses are located very close to public transportation facilities. So getting to a campus is not a problem. Again, our courses have practical outcomes. There is work integrated learning in majority of the programs, small classroom sizes. All our qualifications are recognized throughout Australia. So what that means is if a student completes a diploma or a bachelor's program with us and wants to further their studies into a bachelor's or a master's program at a university, our qualification is recognized. And we have all the required industry accreditations and connections as such, which I'll talk to you again as we go through the presentation. This is just an idea as to what our campus locations look like. This is Melbourne City. These are the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. We deliver international courses at Dandenong, Berwick, and Frankston. So getting to a campus from the city center approximately takes you 45 to 50 minutes by train. We are very close to the Dandenong train station. We are very close to the Berwick and the Frankston station. In fact, our campuses at Berwick and Frankston are probably right opposite to the train station. And from Dandenong, it's approximately a 10-minute walk as such. But there are buses which you can get from outside the station, which drop you right outside our campus as well. You can see this for yourself on Google Maps as well. Just look up Dandenong train station and Chisholm Dandenong, Berwick train station and Chisholm Berwick, Berwick Frankston and Frankston station. It's extremely close by. So you may want to stay in the center of Melbourne. It'll take you approximately 45 to 50 minutes to get here. Now, if your students are driving, you have the freeway and you have the tollway as well, which will get you into a campuses a bit more earlier as well. And the beauty about us is there is plenty of parking on campus for students as such, and the parking is free. I think we are one of the very few educational providers across Victoria which has free parking available for students as such. Of course, it's first come, first serve, but there is parking available. There are plenty of parking spots as such. Again, so this is the growth corridor of Victoria. There is manufacturing firms, there is hospitals, there is shopping malls, universities, schools, colleges, lots around these areas as such. So finding casual and part-time opportunities is possible for international students. And there is plenty of accommodation also available in these areas because it's a suburb. We are away from the city. So there are opportunities for you to find accommodation and affordable accommodation in these around these areas as such. Now, I'm just checking if Dr. Tashan has joined. I don't think so, which is good. So I'm happy to continue. Apologies if it's getting really boring, but please bear with me. Just a couple of slides. And when Dr. Tashan comes, I'm sure he's going to make it more interactive as well. Uh, Now, some quick facts for your reference. So as of 2023, we had 32,000 students. Apologies, this slide is a bit old. We have just looked at our student facts. So we have approximately 42,000 students as of 2024, which is a combination of local and international. Majority of them are local domestic students as such. Now, from all the providers that you would be representing, I would say there is probably a handful of providers who would have such a big strength of 42,000 students. In fact, the student strength that we have is probably larger than some of the top public providers you may be representing as such. 250 plus courses on offer for domestic students. International is a small part. We have nearly 1,700 plus staff currently working at Chisholm. Students from over 165 different countries. In the international area, we have students from at least 18 different nationalities studying. But generally at Chisholm, we have students from over 165 different countries studying in here. And the campuses where we are located are in the areas which are probably the most multicultural areas in Melbourne. Say, for example, Dandenong as a suburb where I am at the moment is the most multicultural suburb in the whole of Australia. There are probably 150 plus different nationalities living in the suburb as such. 8 different campus locations, but international courses are only available at Dandenong, Berwick, and Frankston. Now, what I put in front of your screen is our endorsement. So what this says is this assures you that we are recognized by the required regulatory bodies. This assures you that we are owned and funded by the Victorian state government. We are approved to deliver undergraduate degree programs and diploma programs, due to which we have approval from these two institutions. Very recently, we went through a re-registration audit where we have been extended for another 7 years. That's a maximum life cycle which a provider can be provided when it comes to re-registration. Of course, there were no conditions in that as well, which is a big achievement. Again, we are a nationally recognized training provider. So what that means is our training is recognized all across Australia, making it easy for students who complete either certificate or diploma or bachelor's to move into universities or providers of their choice as such. We are also recognized by VRQA, but because we accept under 18 students over here, domestic students who would like to undertake the year 11 and the year 12 programs as such. Now, having said that, there is a program which I'll talk to you, which is recognized outside of Australia as well. Ultimately, as you're aware, not all the programs delivered in Australia would have the international accreditation, because it comes down to the rules and regulations your respective country may have. Say, for example, Indonesia may recognize the qualifications delivered from Australia, but there are other countries which may not recognize it. So ultimately, it comes down to the individual countries that have their own recognition policies as such. But we do have alumni who have successfully completed our program, have gone to Indonesia, and we do have Indonesian students who have completed our program and are currently gone on to do bigger and better things in Australia as well. Now, these are some of the courses that we deliver at Chisholm. We have courses that certificate, diploma, and a degree level as such. Now, Indonesia being a low risk target market for us, we are comfortable promoting a vocational program, a diploma to degree program, and a degree program as well. So, what that means is if we do promote a vocational program, we ensure that the program is at least for 2 years, or a student can choose a diploma to a degree pathway, which becomes a 1+2, or they could undertake a standalone 3-year degree as well. The visa grants have been good for us from Indonesia. Of course, we do not get a large amount of students because of the program limitations that we have. But whatever students that we do get have had their visas and are currently successfully studying a diploma program and a degree program as well. Now, let me take you a bit in depth into some of the programs that we offer. Now, what you see on screen are some of the course areas that are currently available on offer for our international students as such. Now, I'm happy to share this presentation with Margarita. You could definitely can get a copy of her as well. For any questions or queries that you may have, please feel free to direct your questions to Yes Education Margarita, who will definitely answer all your queries as such. So there is a lot of information, so I've tried to condense this information to ensure that I'm meeting the requirements of this webinar. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to Margarita and she'll direct the questions to me, or you can put them in the question and answer window. Now, these are some of the degrees that we have. Our most popular program is a Bachelor's of Engineering Technology program with 2 specializations, that's mechanical and manufacturing and mechatronics. Now, the way this works is, if you undertake a 4-year degree in engineering, it is an honors degree and you're classified as an engineer. If you undertake a 3-year degree, you're classified as an engineering technologist. So what this means is, in a country like Australia, you don't necessarily need to undertake a 4-year degree. You can undertake a 3-year degree and start working in the sector. So what this can do is, it will save you that additional 1 year of your time. It will also save you that additional 1 year of a financial investment as well. We are the only school in Victoria to offer a 3-year specialization in mechanical and manufacturing and mechatronics. Now, this program is accredited by Engineers Australia as well. We have been running this program successfully since 2014. We have had plenty of students graduate as well. They are currently working in the industry. Some of them A lot of them have secured their permanent residency. Of course, it has its own steps and processes to follow as such. The first intention of the student is to come to Australia, to come to Chisholm, complete their programs, and then the windows of opportunity become available for them. The biggest advantage of this program is there is work integrated learning in this program, which is basically an internship which runs for a span of about 8 weeks. We go and find this for you. So what we do is, as you're studying in the program, a point will come where you have to complete this practical training, where our engineering faculty members would go and find this placement opportunity for you, which is a part of your study program. And the way it works is we would actually place you in one of our industries that we have, companies that we have an association with, and you'll be working on a real real situation where to come up with a solution to solve the problems. So very few, I would say not all institutions in Australia would find this opportunity for you, but here at Chisholm, we find this opportunity for you, which is one of our biggest selling points. And what happens is majority of the students have gone on to continue their employment with these same organizations, and they're still working with them. Some of them have ended up being sponsored by these companies, some of them have ended up securing their permanent residency, and so on as such. So there is a pathway for students to complete this program and secure a job in this study area in Australia as such. So that is one of our most popular areas. And Dr. Tashan will talk to you more. And I'm just checking if he has joined the session. I don't think so. He's here still. So eventually, I'm sure he'll get here. So that's our most popular program. Now, the second popular program that we have is a Bachelor of Community Mental Health, Alcohol, and Other Drugs. So the way this works is it is a program in the community services area. It focuses on mental health, alcohol, and other drugs as your study specialty. Now, we're the only school in Australia to deliver this program. It's a very popular program. The outcomes are extremely strong. It has an industry accreditation by Community Workers Australia. So, what this means is upon completion, you have the opportunity to get your degrees and skills assessed by this particular body. And again, this program is always running at full capacity and is extremely popular because we are the only school in Australia offering this specialization. It's a community services qualification. There are many units that are common between a Bachelor of Community Service and this program. But in this program, you would be focusing on mental health, alcohol, and other drugs as a study area. It's a non-clinical qualification uh, with strong outcomes as such. So these two are direct degrees that we currently have at Chisholm. Now, we certainly have some pathway programs as well. We have a Bachelor's of Psychology, a Bachelor's of Business in Management and Leadership and Accounting. So the way that works is we have a second year entry, so we don't have the first year. So the first year can be our diploma, or it can be a diploma recognized qualification from Indonesia or anywhere in Australia. Say, for example, Bachelor's of Psychology. A student can package that with our Diploma of Community Services or Nursing. Or if you have a student who has completed a health qualification in the diploma stream in Indonesia or anywhere in Australia, they could be given a direct entry into the second year. A very unique program. It has the industry accreditation by the required body as well. Same happens to management and leadership and accounting as well. We have a diploma leading to a bachelor's pathway, or a student could have undertaken a diploma of business or a diploma of accounting anywhere in Indonesia or in Australia, and they can be given a direct second year entry as well. So I mentioned the higher education pathway programs in there as well. So we have a diploma of nursing, which is super popular. Seats are always at full capacity, including a diploma of community services where the seats are at full capacity, and they can be packaged with a community mental health and a psychology program. This is what we have now. Moving forward, we are definitely launching more programs. We are currently investigating launching our own undergraduate programs in areas such as IT, with a specialization in cybersecurity, in areas such as social work and nursing. So this is where we're looking at having our own undergraduate degrees. And we're also opening up more vocational programs so the student can pathway from a diploma to degree program as well. Now, the documentation part is extremely simple. I would say direct everything to Yes Education, and they will be able to support you with any queries that you may have. but it's pretty straightforward. We have an application form that's basically completed online. There is a link over there for the application form which can be downloaded. A copy of your passport can be attached. We do require evidence of English as such. If you're undertaking a bachelor's degree, it is IELTS 6 no band less than a 5.5 or equivalent. If you're undertaking a diploma to degree pathway, it's IELTS 6 no band less than a 5.0 or equivalent. We don't deliver our own English program, but we pathway with two institutions in the city. One is ILSC and the other one is Brown's English, which I'm sure you would know. So if a student wants to package with an English program for an English reading to a bachelor's degree, please contact ILSC or Brown's English for further information. A copy of academic records, a copy of a signed, a genuine student statement. You know the drill. There are four standard questions which you need to answer. A financial checklist. We do not need evidence of financials. Let me make it clear. We do not need evidence of financials because you're a level one country. However, there is a checklist which we would require you to complete. So this is basically to identify that the student has enough evidence of funds at their disposal. Suppose the Department of Home Affairs or any other bodies end up checking. So, what you need to keep in mind is even though the visa system does not require you to submit evidence as such, at any point in time, you could be requested to provide the evidence, due to which we request you to provide evidence of English, and you just have to complete a financial checklist with ensuring that you have access to the financial documentation. So at any point on time, if the school, Yes Education or the Department of Home Affairs requests you to provide information, you have access to it. Uh, there is you'll also need to provide documentations to support any gap as such. So generally, majority of students are students who have completed high school fresh out of year 12, who are applying for a degree or a diploma to degree program. There is gap acceptable. We can accept gap of up to 2 years or so, as long as there is evidence as such to help us understand what the student has been doing. If a student has undertaken a prior undergraduate qualification in Indonesia and wants to apply to Chisholm, we would need to first understand if that undergraduate qualification is equivalent to an Australian qualification. And then we would need to look at the reason, a strong reason as to why the student wants to undertake this particular program. Um, all the above documentations can be sent to Yes Education, who will then work with us in ensuring that a conditional letter of offer is issued to you. Now, we can issue a conditional letter of offers within 2 to 3 working days. Say, for example, if you submit an offer request today, we will be able to issue you a conditional offer letter latest by tomorrow. Um, Again, if you have any queries or questions, you can reach out to Yes Education, who will be able to provide you an answer as such. I see Dr. Tashan is here. I just have one more slide to finish before I hand over to Dr. Tashan as such. Now, these are all the support services that we basically provide. We have our own counseling services, libraries, campus life and events. We run events on a very regular basis. We help you design your resume. And like I said, we have a fantastic engineering technology area which basically helps you in finding the work integrated learning opportunities as well. So the facilities are very similar to any large university or institution that you may find. And as Dr. Tarshan starts speaking, I will put up some links in the window which you can please feel free to go and explore. So thank you so much for your time. I think I'm probably 4 minutes over. I'll now hand over to Dr. Tashan, who will take you through a very nice presentation about a Bachelor's of Engineering Technology program. Thank you all. Dr. Tashan, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hi. I'm just going to share my screen, and then afterwards, hopefully we can just bear with me while I bring the presentation down, and hopefully you can see my presentation.
It is your chat for MS Team, the one that you share.
Yeah, I think your chat window is open.
Sorry, Prashant, what was that again?
Your chat window is open.
Okay. Now bear with me. Stop the sharing. Let's retry that again.
Thank God it was only a chat between you and me, Doctor. We are saying all good things about ourselves, which is good.
Okay, how's this now? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
So that should say Info Day, change your life for the better.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our presentation of the Bachelor of Engineering Technology program. My name is Darshan Vaidyanathan, and I'm the course coordinator for the Bachelor of Engineering Technology program. If I'm speaking too fast, please, Margareta, tell me to slow down because I have a habit of running at 100 miles per hour, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you. So the overview of the session, what I'm going to talk is a little bit about the overview of the session, just a little bit about the Bachelor of Engineering Technology program, some of the subjects, timeline, some of the facilities, and just probably even, I'm not sure we're going to get time to ask any questions, but we'll see how we go. So the Bachelor of Engineering Technology program is a course that commenced in 2011, and it's a 3 years full-time course. In other words, 6 semesters. We have 2 semesters. One which starts in March and goes on till the end of June, and then the other one that starts at the end of July and then finishes up in November, end of November. We have 2 specializations. One is a mechanical and manufacturing, the other one is a mechatronics. The course is accredited by Engineers Australia, and we have students from 16 different countries. 14 of my staff have master's degrees or above, and 9 of them with PhDs from 11 different nationalities. So as you can see, it's a very multinational, talented group, I would say. Most of my lecturers have been in the industry and been working for several years. So they not only have the theoretical knowledge, but they've got the practical knowledge also, which makes them obviously a lot better teachers. And that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in terms of where the students learn the hands-on approach and applying the theory. As I said, what happens is we've got 2 streams. One is the mechatronics stream, the other one is the mechanical and manufacturing stream. Normally, the first 3 semesters that we have is a general one. So what tends to happen is students will do all the subjects, and then what happens is thereafter they will branch off into the mechatronics stream or the mechanical and manufacturing stream. Now, the subjects, having said that, they will be doing certain subjects which are similar. So even though they're in the mechatronics or the mechanical and manufacturing, they will do, say, for example, industrial project 2 at the same time. They will do a subject called project management, which is going to be the same in both streams. So it's not that they will just be isolated. They will have interactions with the other cohort. I'm not going to go through the whole list of subjects, but this is basically the subjects. For those who are doing mechanical and manufacturing or the mechatronics stream, I'll just go into a little bit of in-depth detail about the first semester because I think that might give you a better understanding of what we do. We have a subject called Professional Engineering Technologist, where basically what we do is we talk about what is the role of an engineering technologist. How do they actually work as an engineer? What's the code of ethics? What are their responsibilities? What are some of the standards? So we'll go through all of that. Then we look at engineering mathematics 1. As you all probably would realize and appreciate, engineering involves a lot of mathematics. So we will try and do some mathematics and apply them to the mechatronics engineering or the mechanical and manufacturing stream. One of the things that we try and do is we don't try and just study maths for the sake of maths. We actually apply the mathematic principles in engineering applications. So we try and make the students understand, okay, if you're doing, say, things like differentiation or integration, where is that applicable in an engineering area? How will you actually use it once you finish? Which I think is very useful because sometimes it can be far too theoretical and we don't like that. So we try and make it very practical. Then we've got a subject called Introduction to Digital Electronics Programming, where we talk about, we learn the C language. We also have engineering measuring equipment and also a subject called Engineering Design and Practice, where we will teach students about 2D CAD drawing, computer-aided design. So for those of you who are aware, we teach our students a lot on SolidWorks. Right. In terms of our timetable, normally what we tend to do is we tend to have our subjects 3 days a week. So we normally start at, say, somewhere around, say, 9:30 on a Monday, finish at about 5:30. But we cram all our subjects into 3 days, which allows the students to have 2 days where they can study or they can go and work if they want to earn some money. So it's pretty long days, as you can see, say from 9:30 till 8:30 on this particular day. But at the end of the day, what happens is we found that students prefer to have it on 3 days, which allows them the flexibility to have the weekend and 2 days of the week free to do other things. So what's unique about our course? We have very small personalized classes. When I say small personalized classes, the maximum number of students would be 15 to 20. So the students get to know the teachers get to know you, and it also makes it a lot more interactive. So the small class sizes also makes it much more it makes the learners to learn much more better as well. We have very strong industry engagement. So one of the things that I probably didn't mention is that as part of our course, we have an 8-week industry placement. So students actually go and work in the industry, and then they will then, if they're good enough, normally the company tends to keep them on if they have a position available. So I would say probably 30 or probably 35% of our students who actually go on this work placement, once the company sees how good they are and how well they're actually fitting in with their environment, they would then offer them a place. So it's a lovely way for the students to get that foot into the door and then continue on with the work. The equipment that we have is also outstanding. I would say that when we have Engineers Australia, which is the accreditation board, one of the accreditation boards that we actually have, they are amazed at how much of equipment we've got. We've got some fantastic equipment, which is state of the art. For example, this is an FMS station, which is a flexible manufacturing system, which is about equivalent to about roughly about 1 million Australian dollars. So on here, students will learn how a manufacturing assembly system works. So you can see that we get all these different parts, and then it will then automatically then assemble them, each of these individual parts on different stations. And then what the lecturers will do is they will simulate a fault. So the students will go on there and then try and find out, oops, hang on, this hasn't happened. Why has it not happened? They look at the programming side, they look at the electronic side, they look at the hardware side, they'll do some tracing, and it'll enable them to then fix the problem. So this is what they will actually have in an industrial application. And this is what will happen in the industry when they go out to work. So we are actually preparing our students well for that industry placements as well as the industrial workforce. This is one of our mechanical laboratory. You can see we've got another fantastic lot of equipment, and this is where we've got a centrifugal pump where we look at the pumps that are working in series or parallel. We look at friction losses in pipes. I wouldn't want to go too much into details, but there are several equipment and students get a lot of practical. So what we tend to do is we tend to first have the theory bit, and then we immediately take them into the lab and then illustrate what those theoretical applications practically are. We've also got a workshop, which is amazing. We've got TIG welders, MIG welders, we've got plasma cutters, and students also get their hands quite dirty in working on these machines as well. This is our mechatronics laboratory, which is one of our prides. We've got some of the best Industry 4.0 manufacturing process systems. We've got 6 robots, and we've actually been offered another robot yesterday to add to this. So we've got some of the state-of-the-art, best equipment that you could ever think of. This is some of the companies that we have strong industrial links with. So recently we actually put out the number of companies that we have in contact with, and it came to roughly about 40, I think, companies that we have collaborations with. So we have several companies that we can tailor the students to go in and work. And one of the good things that we tend to do is we tend to find the right student who has the right background for that particular company. So what tends to happen is I go into that company, find out what sort of projects that they have, and then I come back, try and find out with my team who would be the ideal student, and then that student gets sent out to that company. So it's not just, sending them out for the sake of sending them out to an industry. We tailor the program so that it's much more suitable for the student, which is something that I think not a lot of places tend to do that. Besides the study buys, we have lots of activities. We've had lots of activities. Some of them have been sponsored by the international team with Prashant's team. We've had badminton days. We've had sports days. We've had students who have come on newspapers because of their high academic achievements. And this is just now a quick overview of some of the typical projects that some of our students have done in the workforce as an example. So for example, what has happened is here is a production system where they've got perfumes put into these bottles. And what they were doing was they were actually looking at the labels that were being put on it, and they were looking at it with an eye and seeing whether the labels were put properly. So what we said was, listen, this is very silly. We can actually get cameras and automate the whole process. So we were able to find out actual cameras, what sort of lighting is required, what sort of software is required, what sort of hardware is required. And then the students worked on that project, and the company basically invested about $250,000, and then we're able to get that. And what that made the company to do was that they were able to increase their production activity and made it a lot more faster and better. We've had optimization of a plant layout so that they can get a much more throughput, and we've also designed a jig for an automation system. So in terms of the automation production line, when I talked about the labeling process, originally they were able to do about 5,500 bottles of labels, and they required 3 staff, and it required 32 hours. After we were able to automate the whole process, they were able to do it with 2 staff, but at within 4 hours. So you can see there's a factor of 8 that they actually improved in their production system with less number of staff. So obviously that made it a lot more better. That's the same thing in a different format given. This is where what they had was they were looking at how to look at identifying impurities in the perfume. So what they used to have was they had a barrel, and they used to put the barrel through this filter paper, and it would go through at the bottom in here through the filter paper. And that whole process of the barrel of the perfume going through down there would take roughly sometimes 2 days, 3 days. We were able to organize a vacuum chamber where the students designed that whole process, and then they were able to get this whole process done in 2 to 3 minutes. So it's a great way that the students actually learn how to find an industrial problem and then solve that. This is a plant layout where it was all in a mess, and then the students went in and then they actually laid it out in a nicer way so that there will be an unloading bay, and then there'll be a loading bay, and then they'll go through the whole process in here, and it was all much more cleanly laid out. I think this is probably the entry requirement courses, which I think Prashant will probably talk about later on. And I think that's where I'll probably want to stop unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Tarshan. I think he has explained to you what's involved in the program. This is as real as it gets as such. Like I said, this is one of the most popular program at Chisholm, and we have international students currently undertaking this program. There have been students from Indonesia who have completed this program, who have graduated from us as well. So happy to take any questions or queries that you may have. I have not seen any questions in the question and answer box unless you sent it directly to Margarita. Uh, Please feel free to ask any questions or queries you have now. If not, you can send an email to Margarita as well. And in the chat window, there's a lot of links what I put through for your reference. So that will give you access to a YouTube playlist a virtual campus tour, our international course guide, our digital flyer. So these are some of the marketing materials which you can use. Uh, Check out our 360-degree campus tour and a YouTube playlist. It shows this basically tells you how we as an institution are and how big we are as such. Also put in an application form, a financial matrix form, which basically, like I said, that can be completed and attached. You don't need to provide as evidence of financials. You just have to complete the form. And if there's any other specific marketing materials that you may require, please feel free to let Margarita know, and I can get that organized for you as such. But for any questions or queries, please direct it all to Margarita, who will definitely ensure that she checks with me. Now we are still recruiting for the July intake. I'm not sure if all of you know, according to the new ministerial direction 111, we as TAFEs are exempt from basically we get priority processing. So what that means is, if you look at ministerial direction 111, we are one of the very handful institutions that even if we end up reaching our 80% capacity, we would be getting the priority processing. So what that means is you may want to put in applications to us, so all the visa outcomes will come under priority one, which means that the outcomes will be delivered to you in 8 weeks or less. So having said that, all of visa processing, what I have seen at the moment is actually under 4 weeks. That's the outcomes that we are seeing at the moment. So please have a look at Ministerial Direction 111. You will see that TAFEs are exempt from the 80% processing cap, and we do get priority processing. So if I was you, I would make the best use of it. And before I finish, the most important part is have a look at our tuition fee. It's extremely competitive. When you're talking about engineering program, the annual tuition fee is approximately $22,000 a year, which is approximately $11,000 a semester. Now, we're a public provider. You looked at some of the facilities that we offer. I think it's a very competitive tuition fee, which is currently on offer for the international students. Uh, so with that, I'm happy to close uh, the session from my side. Let me know if you have any queries or questions. I'm definitely Tash and I are around for the next couple of minutes. Thank you so much. Over to you, Margarita.
Okay, thank you, Prasad, and also thank you, Dr. Tarshan, for the presentation today. So for our attendee, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to submit your question in the chat box or Q&A box. Maybe in the meanwhile, since you offer majority for VET and also bachelor degree, usually Indonesian students, when they graduate the high school, they are still under 18. Could you please maybe give some explanation about the under 18 processing in Chisholm?
Yeah. Thanks, Margarita. I think you hit the nail on the head. That's one of the trends which we have identified as well. Now, unfortunately, we do not accept under 18 students. We used to, but we have moved away from that in 2020. Like majority of the other CRICOS institutions as well that are moving away from accepting under 18 students, as the regulatory requirements are extremely strong in that space. But having said that, I think there's nothing stopping from them applying. They can certainly submit an application form or so. Obviously, the intake that we would recommend is an intake once they're 18. So like I said, we do accept a gap. A gap of up to 2 years is definitely acceptable in this instance. And we do understand that somebody who's under 18 who has graduated, unfortunately, we cannot accept them, but the gap will be taken into account when we accept them for the future intakes.
Okay, so if the student wants to apply when they are still under 18, it's okay, but the
Yes.
intake must be after they are 18.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I see. And then regarding the accommodation, is Chisholm
Yes.
also have their own accommodation partner?
Look, great question. Now, what's currently happening is now a couple of things. The suburbs that we live in, accommodation has usually never been a problem because there are Indonesian families, there are host houses where where students end up finding accommodation themselves. Student Housing Australia is one platform that I would recommend for your prospective students to find accommodation. Two, I'm currently in the process of finding an accommodation solution for the students as such. I cannot divulge a lot of information, but there are certain short-term and long-term facility accommodation options which we are in the process of finding for our students. There will be announcements made in due course for sure. Third thing, for students who are studying at the Berwick campus, they do since the Federation University Berwick campus is opposite to us, they do have the opportunity to contact the Fed Living accommodation option to check if there are any vacancies available for them to house our international students. But I think very soon we'll be able to offer some short-term and temporary, short-term and long-term accommodation options to our students who are keen to study at the Dandenong and the Frankston campus. And these accommodations would be actually very close to the train station and very close to the campus as well. There is certain information that I'm waiting to receive. Once that's made available to us, we will definitely send all the information out to you. But at the moment, all the students who apply to Chisholm, generally they go via they talk to their existing family members in here. They use websites such as U-Homes, they use Student Housing Australia, they look at real estate, Gumtree as such to find accommodation solutions. Or there are certain serviced apartments as well in and around the vicinity of our campuses, which the students can have access to as they research on the website and they're able to sort their accommodation options themselves.
Okay. That's a good news because as I noticed that you have some campuses not only in Melbourne but also in subs area, right? And usually our students have some difficulties to find the accommodation in the sub
Yeah.
area.
I think what's happening is look, I've been in Australia for the last 20 years. I came here as an international student. I always lived in the suburbs. So is Dr. Tashan as well. We are born and brought up in the suburbs as such. Now, city is someplace where you go to have fun. You know, a lot there. I know there is a lot of people who are international students who live in the city, but city is somewhere you live in a small apartment, you know, you have fun over the weekends, you end up spending a lot of money. But if you're actually looking for a good casual part-time or full-time employment, there are high chances that you'll end up coming towards this side of town. Now, like I said, manufacturing corridor, health corridor, that is where we are. There is high chances that I can say this confidently, majority of the people, students living in the city, they might be coming towards this side of town to basically do their casual and part-time opportunities as such. So why would you want to live in a city, spend, spend $2,500 in a small apartment? So you might as well spend the same amount of money and live here like a king, So it's some of our suburbs are very close to the beaches as well. Frankston, for example, you go into the classroom, you can actually see the beach from the window. And again, Dandenong campus, extremely multicultural. If you go to the main Lonsdale Street shopping precinct, everything is there. There's no necessity for you to go out of the suburb as such.
That's a nice insight about the location also. Because majority of the student, they don't have any picture in their mind about how the community will be like, right? So
Yeah,
it's up to us to explain to them about what they are searching for. Because
and and like I said, Mike, look, I openly and very honestly tell all my agents and all my prospective students as such, go into Google Maps, put our addresses, put our station, you'll see for yourself. There's nothing to hide in there. And also, just to let you all know, Frankston is one of those areas where the Indonesian population is very strong. So there's a lot of Indonesian population that lives in the Frankston corridor, and including the students as well, because there is Frankston, there is a Peninsula Monash campus, and there's a lot of Indonesian students studying there. So yeah, I mean, if I was an international student, I would definitely come and live in a suburb, share the accommodation with some of my roommates, and have a room to myself, have a big living area, have a nice garden in the background, and the shopping facilities and everything is very close by. Why live in a small studio apartment in the city?
okay. Okay, we have one question from
Yeah.
our attendee.
Yes.
It's regarding online studies.
Yeah.
Do you offer online studies for early childhood education?
Now, this is a very interesting question. Now, as you know, international students can only study a proportion of the studies online. Having said that, we do have a Chisholm online wing, which is basically delivers courses online. You may have to go and look if anything is available in there, but none of that comes under my remit. So that is completely a different area to see if there is early childhood education offered. Now, from my understanding, it's a practical qualification. You need that hands-on experience. So I do not know. In the international space with us, we have a certificate 3 and a diploma of early childhood education face to face. We do not do it online. But if you go and explore the other component that we have where we deliver courses online, it could be available on there.
Okay, so it's not a fully offer
No, no, no,
online
it's
course.
not. So if you are promoting Chisholm, if you are promoting the courses, this would not come under our remit as such, no.
Okay, okay. I see. Yeah, because also for the student visa clauses, the student
Yes,
have
and
to
again,
study
we
on campus,
study
right?
majority of the course online, on campus here.
Yeah. Okay, I hope it's answered.
Yeah, and
You're
yeah,
welcome.
we're still recruiting for the July intake. We'll stop accepting our applications
Mhm.
from offshore sometime towards the second week of June. So there's still spaces in Bachelor of Engineering Technology, Bachelor of Community Mental Health. So if you do have applications, please do send them our way.
Okay, so the deadline is
Second week of June from offshore.
on fully document requirements needed.
So I would say, well, to put it this way, let me put it this way. So we would, the last day for COE issuance for the July intake would be the 13th of June.
Ah, okay. So they need to also accept the offer.
Yes. So what we're
Yeah,
doing is,
okay.
the reason why we're doing that is our orientation is in the first week of July. There is
Ah,
class commencements towards, there are late class commencements available, but the plan is we want to ensure that the students are able to attend the orientation and start the classes on time. So again, the last day for issuance of COE would be the 13th of June. Now, happy to look at it on a case by case basis. If you do have students who are a couple of days up and down, we can certainly consider that.
okay. Okay, we'll also share it with our other recruitment partner who cannot attend today.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other question or all the presentation already answer what you want to ask?
Uh, Everything done from my end. That was the wrap presentation. That was everything from us. That was everything from Dr. Tashan. So nothing else from our area.
Yeah, I think there are also no more question in the chat box and in the Q&A. I think
Yeah.
all the presentation that both of you doing are very good,
Thank
very
you.
clear about the
Yeah.
information. And maybe later if our attendee receive any inquiries that usually it's a student case, it will be different case by case, right? So if
Yeah.
any of our attendee receive this inquiry and need our assistance to clarify or inquire this question to our partner in Chisholm with
Yeah.
Prasan, maybe please do not hesitate to contact our team. We have myself, and then we also have Mas Farid and also Mas Febri to handle Australia destination. So you have 3 point of contact from Yes Education. Please do not hesitate to submit your inquiry. And in case you have any student who wants to do online consultation, we can try to arrange it with Prasan. Okay, we have another question here.
Yes.
How about diploma of community service? Is it for
Yes.
international student?
Yes, it is available for international students, but unfortunately the seats are full for the July intake. So the Diploma of Community Services seats have been sold out. It's a very popular program. There's no space available for July 2025. If you do have students for Feb 2026, I would say put the students in now. Diploma of Nursing and a Diploma of Community Services tends to fill out really quickly. So it is available for internationals, but the next intake for this is Feb 2026.
Okay, so it's better to advise your student to submit the application as soon as possible because some of the program in Chisholm is very limited for international student.
Yes,
And
it is accredited by, it's not ACWA has changed to, it's a new organization now. It's called Community Workers Australia, CWA. It is accredited by CWA. It's a 1.5-year program. If you go on to the CWA website, you'll see a name. It can be packaged with the Bachelor's of Community Mental Health, Alcohol and Other Drugs program, which is also accredited by CWA. So it'll be a 1.5 plus a 2.5-year program.
okay, I hope it's answer your question. Okay, if there's no more question, we can close this session today. And if after this session, you have any additional question, please do not hesitate to submit it to Yes Education team. And we will inquire the question to Prasan and the team.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you.
Prasan. Thank you, Dr. Tarsan.
Thank
for
you
your
all. Thank you,
time.
moderator.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Hope to see you in
Take care.
Australia soon.
Thank you, everyone. Hopefully soon.